Good morning. I'm happy to be joined here by my Chief Assistant City Attorney, Jesse Smith. Also here are Deputy City Attorneys Tom Lackritz, Yvonne Murray, Kristen Jensen, and Victoria Weatherford, all who've been working diligently on the action that we filed in San Francisco Superior Court this morning. I'm also happy to be joined by Supervisor Aaron Peskin and soon to be joined by Supervisor Scott Wiener, both of whom have been working on issues related to this defendant for many years. Today, I'm announcing that I have filed suit against one of the city's largest property owners and landlords, Academy of Art University. The civil complaint I filed in San Francisco Superior Court this morning details a decade-long pattern of violations in which an array of corporate affiliates schemed to purchase and lease properties for AAU's use citywide. Again and again, AAU's use of the properties it acquired was unauthorized, unpermitted, or wholly prohibited by local law. Again and again, AAU thumbed its nose at planning and building code requirements which every other San Francisco property owner is expected to follow. Again and again, AAU flouted even basic requirements involving signage, historic preservation, environmental review, and more. And most seriously of all, again and again, AAU acquired residential and commercial properties only to convert them into student dorms and facilities. In doing so, AAU unlawfully deprived San Franciscans of some 300 residential dwellings we desperately need in the midst of our affordable housing crisis, as well as critically needed office space. In fact, the scale of AAU's defiance has been breathtaking. According to a planning department memo from last month, among the 40 properties that AAU operates in San Francisco, pictured here in the map to my right, fully 33 fail to comply with permit, entitlement, or authorization requirements. Academy of Art, quite simply, is an egregious land use scofflaw, and its defiance persists at the worst possible time for our residents. For as long as AAU has been breaking the law, city officials have been working to get AAU to comply with the law. And I will confess that I was sometimes less patient than some of my client departments about those efforts. But make no mistake about this, for more than a decade, our city worked cooperatively with AAU to resolve its rampant violations. We extended every professional courtesy, and no one can doubt the extraordinary good faith San Francisco showed in working with the AAU. And yet, again and again, AAU met our good faith with bad faith. Again and again, AAU sought more time to fix existing violations even while scheming to commit new violations at newly purchased properties. Again and again, AAU set deadlines it missed, made promises it broke, and hired lawyers it soon fired, simply to frustrate progress toward resolution. With our lawsuit today, the again and agains end. By once and for all suing to end this wrongdoing, we're asking the court to adjudicate 23 AAU properties currently in violation. Another 10 properties currently reflected on the map remain under review by my office, and they may be added in an amended complaint at a later date if the problems are not remedied. Our litigation makes certain that San Francisco's rights are protected, and it more importantly seeks objectives that no environmental review process alone can accomplish. By filing suit against Academy of Art University, we seek to restore 300 residential housing units that AAU unlawfully displaced, to affirm San Franciscans' right to have a voice in shaping their neighborhoods, to reassert the integrity of fair and even-handed land use regulation and zoning, to end unfair business practices which disadvantage honest competitors who play by the rules, and to exact penalties that are both commensurate with AAU's wrongdoing and sufficient to deter similar would-be scofflaws in the future. I'll conclude with saying how thankful I am to the talented lawyers with me today. I'm grateful as well for the tireless efforts and patience of zoning administrator Scott Sanchez, to the planning department, and to our planning commission. I'm also very grateful to Supervisor Aaron Peskin, whose district includes many of the San Francisco properties where the AAU is flouting the law, for his leadership and hard work over the years, and to Supervisor Scott Wiener, who for years has pushed legislation designed to limit the AAU's ability to flout San Francisco's zoning and land use laws. And before I take any questions, I'd like Supervisor Peskin, and when Supervisor Wiener is able to join us, to say a few words. Supervisor Peskin.
Thank you, City Attorney Herrera. I'm here to commend the City Attorney and his staff for finally bringing this action. We have been waiting patiently, perhaps too patiently, for over a decade. This has disproportionately impacted the northeast corner of the city, where hundreds of units of affordable housing have been removed during the height of this crisis. The Academy has played San Francisco for a fool, but that is coming to an end today, so let me thank City Attorney Herrera and his deputy city attorneys. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Peskin. I'll let Supervisor Wiener say a few words once he gets here, but in the interim, I'm happy to take any questions, or either personally or refer them to my staff.
What do you think took so long?
It took so long for
all this to kind of come to a head. I know that there have been grumblings in City Hall about Academy of Art for a long time.
Yeah. I would say it's been no secret that I've probably been a little less patient than others. There has been, I think, a process of obfuscation and delay by the Academy of Art, leading people to believe that perhaps they were going to engage in a good faith effort to remedy the issues. And to our clients' credit, they gave them every opportunity. They bent over backwards to give them every opportunity. And despite that, the Academy of Art did not engage in good faith. And there's no secret that they are economically, politically powerful, have a lot of resources at their disposal, and believe me, they used every one of those things to kick this can down the road. But I'm very happy that the planning department and the zoning administrator and this office are in sync with saying this has to end, and that's why you've seen the planning department issue their most recent round of notices of violation, and I think everybody's patience has run out.
This will accomplish what environmental review cannot
Alone.
explain.
It cannot alone. You've probably heard, or you may hear from the Academy of Art, that we're so far along in the EIR process, why in the world would you drop this lawsuit now? The fact of the matter is that this has nothing to do with slowing down anything. The EIR process alone does not remedy their past wrongdoing and doesn't remedy or take care of any of the violations that are currently there. This does not slow down the EIR process at all, and the fact of the matter is that this EIR process has been going on for more than 5 years, which is virtually unheard of, and it's because of their intransigence and delay. So that's what I was alluding to.
The Academy is saying that they had a very generous settlement proposal on the table and that you turned it down. What's your response to that?
Well, I'd say that is grossly overstates the facts. Settlement discussions are the particulars. I can't go into because they're confidential, but nothing could be further from the truth that a generous offer was put forth. There were numerous settlement discussions, but it became very clear to me that they were going nowhere because the AAU wasn't taking this as seriously as they needed to. So I wouldn't have filed this suit if I didn't think that we needed to in order to make sure that these issues got dealt with and it was remedied. Before I take any additional questions, which I'll be happy to do, I want Supervisor Wiener to say a few words. We're very happy to have Supervisor Wiener here, and as I said earlier, he has been pushing legislation and working for years to limit the AAU's ability to flout the law and to make sure that we have even-handed enforcement when it comes to educational institutions and master planning. So, Supervisor Wiener.
Thank you, Dennis. I want to thank the City Attorney's Office for moving forward decisively to enforce the law. And it's a pretty basic concept that everyone needs to follow the law. When we pass zoning limitations, when we pass housing measures to try to protect our scarce rental housing stock, it's important that those laws mean something. And it means something when the Board of Supervisors passes a law that the mayor signs to say that universities need to build their own housing, and we're going to make it easier for you to do that. But you can't buy up rent-controlled apartments and convert them to student dorms. It means something when we have restrictions in our planning code limiting how you can use particular properties. There's a reason why we do that, and everyone needs to follow the law. In 2012, I authored student housing legislation to do exactly that, to give incentives for universities to build student housing. We need more student housing, but we don't want student housing at the expense of our general population in terms of cannibalizing our scarce rent-controlled housing stock. And just a couple months ago, we passed legislation, and thank you to Supervisor Peskin for supporting it, legislation to beef up our code enforcement efforts, to make it easier and more efficient for our departments to enforce the law, and to empower the city attorney to step in and to sue when things are not moving quickly enough. So again, thank you to the city attorney's office for moving forward to make sure that everyone follows the law.
Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you. I'll continue taking questions to the extent people have them.
You seem pretty fired up.
I am fired up.
Yeah, I mean, are you?
This is embarrassing that we're sitting here when we've been fighting this for 10 years, and I am angry about it. And I know that these two supervisors are angry about it. And I'm angry about it because the vast majority of people in San Francisco know what they have to do to play by the rules. And if you had an issue at your house or your small business, you know the standard and the processes that you'd have to go through at the planning department. And here we have an entity that didn't just ignore the rules, they actively flouted them. And it's infuriating. And I think that this goes to the heart of what either inspires or detracts from the public's confidence in the integrity of government. And when they see a large and powerful entity flouting rules that the ordinary San Franciscan has to abide by, it creates a confidence in their perception of the integrity of government. And that's something that denigrates all of our residents and what we do. So I am.
And why do you think they did it? Does this come down to just a simple case of greed?
It comes down to money. I mean, they are one of the largest property owners in San Francisco, and this is a highly lucrative business that is being run by this institution, and it's very profitable. Vic?
Dennis, is there any evidence at all, or even an investigation, as to whether or not there was corruption at City Hall that allowed the Academy to pursue, continue